Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. FX update: a USD consolidates at lows analysis. http ntvforex.com news ID 4208E8142028 4616 AM EUR USD H4. The main currencies have settled in narrow ranges, with the dollar consolidating above yesterday's lows after a two-day decline. The USD index DXY has steadied in the lower 93.0s, above yesterday's one-week low at 92.93. Eurist has concurrently reached a stasis in the lower 1.1800s, below Thursday's one-week peak at 1.1865. The pair has been in a strong uptrend since early May, producing last week's 27-month high at January 1917, though upside momentum has flagged over the last 2 weeks. The advent of the 750 billion euro recovery fund and the fact that Europe has come through the pandemic ahead of the US have been underpinning Eurist, along with the perception that the Fed is strategically being less attentive to inflation risks, which pushed real Treasury yields deep into negative territory. This dynamic looks to be shifting in certain aspects, which may curtail Eurist's uptrend. New coronavirus cases are dropping in some states as community immunity builds up, having already done so in other parts of the US, while high-frequency data and the July employment report are evidencing rebounding economic activity. Elsewhere today, USD-JP has been plying a narrow range below yesterday's 3-week high at 107.06. Cable has settled near 1.3050, holding well within the broadly sideways range that has been seen over the last week. Ditto for AUD-USD, which has been making time near the 0.7150 mark. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. The outlook for silver remains fundamentally bullish. Video analysis: http ntvforex.com news ID 8F076C8142028 5444 AM. Listen to the latest market mood for the ZGUSD pair. The outlook for silver remains fundamentally bullish. World interest rates are low and look set to remain that way. QE programs from central banks around the world are devaluing currencies. Silver still has a long way to catch up to its previous all-time highs, so buyers will still be attracted to silver compared to gold, which has already taken out its all-time highs. The recent falls in the precious metal have been in keeping with a pullback within a wider bull trend. Due to the huge ranges involved in trying to set stops on this market, one strategy that traders will be using is taking breaks of trend lines. If price can climb and stay above the trend line, it tells you that bulls are in control. Expect silver buyers on breakout of descending trend line. Trade risks if we see a swift return to central banks raising their interest rates that will invalidate this outlook. NBSP learn more about HYCM NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. GBP USD at daily highs despite negative momentum. ntvforex.com news ID B623312. 2 minutes ago by NTV Forex team, the GBP USD pair is trading at daily highs above the 1.3080 mark despite Friday's 4-hour chart is showing that momentum turned to the downside. On the flip side, support is seen at the daily low of 1.3048, and Forex's analyst Yohai Elam briefs. Key quotes: a GBP USD has fallen over the 50 simple moving average on the 4-hour chart and momentum has turned negative, both bearish signs. Moreover, the recent swing high fell short of the previous one, a lower high, which is another downside driver. A support awaits at the daily low of 1.3048, followed by the stubborn 1.3005, which is the weekly low. Further down, 1.2950 and 1.2905 RIDA. The cable has just surpassed the initial resistance at the daily high of 1.3075, which is followed by the weekly high of 1.3135. Further above, 1.3183 is August's peak and BSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD CAD Loonie holds the upper hand. Analysis http ntvforex.com. News ID 745FD98142028 5627 AM. USD CAD H4 USD CAD has settled in the lower 1.3200s, above the 8-month low of yesterday, at 1.3190. A weakening US dollar, coupled with perky oil prices, have been weighing on the pair in recent months, which we anticipate will retain a downtrending bias. USD CAD pair has been trending lower, albeit with waning momentum, since mid-March. The global economic recovery from lockdowns, which were at their zenith in April, has been instrumental in USD CAD's downtrend, with the Canadian currency rising concomitantly with oil prices while the US currency has waned as a safe haven unit, and with negative real US yields on the view that the Fed may become strategically more tolerant of inflation risk eroding the greenback's performance. The Canadian dollar will continue to remain sensitive to fluctuations in the US dollar and oil prices. Downside risks for the Canadian dollar include the OPEC Group's course to easing output quotas, which could weigh on oil prices, alongside the coronavirus pandemic and geopolitical tensions, should they derail the recovery in global asset markets. Technically, the pair has been under the 20-day moving average since July 15 and this forms a key resistance at 1.3360. The H4 chart has tracked lower all week with support at today's S1 and yesterday's low at 1.3190, below the psychological 1.3200 level. The 20-period moving average sits at 1.3265. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Eurozone prelim GDP meets estimates with 12.1% QoQ in Q2. EUR/USD stays above 1.18. http ntvforex.com. News ID 1ABDEC 8 minutes ago by Dwani Mehta. Eurozone GDP QoQ Q2 NBSP 12.1% actual vs 12.1% expected. BLC's GDP YoY Q2 NBSP 15.0% actual versus 15.0% expected. EUR/USD sustains the bounce above 1.1800 on the data. The Eurozone economic output shrank in the second quarter. The latest figures released by NBSP Eurostat confirmed NBSP on Friday. The BLC's GDP contracted 12.1% QoQ in Q2, matching the expectation of 12.1% and 12.1% reported in the first estimate. The annualized figure arrived at 15.0% versus 15.0% expected and 15.0% last. Meanwhile, the number of employed persons in the Eurozone decreased by 2.8% QoQ in Q2 versus 1.7% expected and 0.2% previous. The seasonally adjusted trade balance for the bloc stood at €21.2 billion in June versus €8.0 recorded in May. More to come. About Eurozone GDP. The NBSP Gross Domestic Product NBSP released by the NBSP Eurostat. NBSP is a measure of the total value of all goods and services produced by the Eurozone. The GDP is considered as a broad measure of the Eurozone economic activity and health. Usually, a rising trend has a positive effect on the euro, while a falling trend is seen as negative or bearish. FX implications. The shared currency shows little reaction to the mixed Eurozone economic releases, as EUR/USD sustains the bounce from 1.1791 lows. At the press time, USD trades modestly flat at 1.1814. All eyes remain on the US retail sales and consumer sentiment data for fresh trading incentives. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. GBP/JPY challenges 24-week high above 140.00. Video analysis http ntvforex.com. News ID 923FD2814 2029 0125 AM. GBP/JPY posted a noteworthy upside movement as it reached a fresh 24-week high of 140.19 on Thursday, surpassing the previous peak of 139.80. Also, the price is still developing above the 5-month ascending trend line. NBSP. From a technical viewpoint, the RSI indicator jumped above the 70 level, entering the overbought region, while the stochastic oscillator is heading towards the 80 line after the bullish cross within the %K and %D lines. Both are suggesting a possible pullback in the short term. However, more upside movements could take the price towards the immediate 140.90 resistance before creating a steeper increase until the 144.95 barrier, taken from the peak on February 21. On the other side, a failed attempt to have a closing day above the 139.80 region could send the market to the 200-day simple moving average SMA at 137.25. which stands near the 20-day SMA before flirting with the valid rising trend line and the 136.60 support. Below that, the market could switch the bullish picture to negative, hitting the 40-day SMA at 135.67 and the 100-day SMA at 134.31, marginally above the 133.95 barrier. Briefly, GBP/JPY is posting higher highs and higher lows in the medium term. That said, a descending move beneath the 100-day SMA would change the bullish move to bearish. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. GBP/USD. Any surprising clash in trade to boost safe haven dollar? ntvforex.com. News ID D6FE6 4 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. GBP/USD has been on the back foot due to the US dollar's strength. The UK's gradual reopening may help sterling, but the pound has reasons to stay stuck in a dark alley, Yohai Elam, an analyst at NTV Forex, informs. Key quotes: A casins, theatres A and bowling alleys A are among the establishments that will be able to reopen from the weekend in England. The pound positive development is simultaneously marred by another COVID-19 related announcement. Britain will require all those coming from France, the Netherlands, and several other countries to quarantine. The ongoing pain for sterling comes from prospects for the job market. Chancellor of the Exchequer Rishi Sunak's statement that many people will lose their jobs is still weighing. NBSP. Brexit talks are set to resume on Tuesday, and headlines ahead of the talks may move the pound. However, officials are not expecting any outcomes before autumn. NBSP. A significant test awaits the economy and markets on Friday. Retail sales for July. Government support kept consumption going in July, but the virus may have kept consumers at their homes. Economists expect a slowdown in the recovery. The University of Michigan's preliminary Consumer Sentiment Index for August is also of interest and is set to remain stable. NBSP. China said it has fulfilled the Phase 1 trade deal with the USA, a statement coming ahead of high-level talks between the world's largest economies. Despite the deterioration in Sino-American relations, both Washington and Beijing would like trade to flow. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. EUR/USD comes under pressure around 1.1800 http ntvforex.com news ID CE5A 4 minutes ago by Pablo Piovano. EUR/USD fades the earlier spike to the vicinity of 1.1830. EMU flash Q2 GDP came in at 12.1% QOQ. US retail sales, industrial production, UMich next of relevance. After reaching weekly tops near 1.1870 on Thursday, EUR/USD came under some selling pressure and is now hovering around the 1.1800 neighborhood. EUR/USD looks to data, USD following 3 consecutive daily advances. EUR/USD is now attempting to extend the weekly recovery, which appears so far limited by Thursday AS peaks in the 1.186570 band. The macro scenario remains unaltered so far, where the investor saw attention keeps gyrating around the US political stalemate, relegating to a secondary role the progress of the pandemic and developments from the economic recovery worldwide. In the Euro docket, another estimate of the Q2 GDP showed the economy of the bloc is expected to contract 12.1% QOQ during the April-June period and 15.0% on an annualized basis. Additional data see the employment change to contract 2.8% QOQ during the same period. Across the pond, July's retail sales are forecasted to have expanded around 2.0% MOM. Further US data will see industrial manufacturing production, capacity utilization, and the flash gauge of the UMich index. What to look for around EUR/USD pushed higher and recorded new highs near January 1920 earlier in the month, subsequently sparking a corrective downside that met solid contention in the 1.17 region for the time being. The July-August rally, while largely triggered by broad-based dollar selling and improved sentiment in the risk-associated universe, found extra sustain in auspicious results from domestic fundamentals, which have been in turn supporting further the view of a strong economic recovery following the coronavirus crisis. Also lending wings to the momentum around the euro appear the recently clinched deal on the European Recovery Fund A, which helped putting political fears within the bloc to rest for now, and the solid position of the current account in the region. EUR/USD levels to watch at the moment. The pair is retreating 0.02% at 1.1810 and faces the next support at 1.1711 weekly low August 12, followed by 1.1695 monthly low August 3 and finally 1.1495 monthly high March 9. On the other hand, a breakout of 1.1864 weekly high August 13 would target January 1916-2020 high August 6 en route to January 1996 high May 14, 2018. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. NZD/USD scope for a move to the back of the broken 2014 downtrend at 0.65. A credit suicide. ntvforex.com news ID 97C7DD 7 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. NZD/USD is the choice pair for anyone who wants to play for a USD rebound, with the market now pressuring key short-term support at 0.652500. Whilst economists at Credit Suisse ideally look for this level to hold, the A wedge measured objective EA is at 0.6400. Bigger picture, weakness is still seen as corrective and the broader uptrend is expected to resume. Key quotes: A, as the market is now breaking beneath the 55-day average, we remain biased mildly to the downside in the short term and would not exclude another test of the back of the broken 2014 downtrend. Currently at 0.6500 AA, we ideally look for the 0.65 area to hold and shift into a lengthier consolidation phase, with resistance seen initially at 0.6554, then 0.65996,000, ahead of a move to the back of the broken March uptrend at 0.6618 AA. Beneath 0.6500 could see weakness extend even further though, with next support seen at 0.6466, ahead of 0.645041. It is worth highlighting the A wedge measured objective EA is at 0.6400 A NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. EUR/GBP struggles for direction, stuck in a range below mid 0.9000 http ntvforex.com news ID BF05642 2 minutes ago by Haresh Menghani. EUR/GBP extended its sideways consolidative price action for the second straight session on Friday. Positive Brexit-related headlines underpinned the British pound and capped any meaningful upside. The shared currency had a rather muted reaction to the release of the prelim Eurozone GDP report. The EUR/GBP cross extended its sideways consolidative price action and seesawed between tepid gains minor losses through the early European session. The cross struggled to capitalize on this week's goodish bounce from near one-month lows and has been oscillating in a narrow trading band A below mid 0.9000 SA over the past two trading sessions. A modest pickup in demand for the British pound was seen as one of the key factors capping any meaningful upside for the EUR/GBP cross. The sterling's relative outperformance against its European counterpart could be attributed to some positive Brexit-related headlines. In fact, the UK chief negotiator David Frost said on Thursday that a Brexit agreement can be reached in September. This comes ahead of another round of negotiations next week and indicated that both sides remain committed to reaching a deal. On the other hand, the shared currency struggled to gain any meaningful traction and prolonged its subdued price action following the release of the preliminary Eurozone GDP report second reading. The latest figures released by Eurostat confirmed that the region's economic output contracted 12.1% QoQ during the second quarter of 2020. Meanwhile, the lack of any fresh buying interest indicates that the recent bounce from the 0.8970 region might have already run out of the steam and supports prospects for the resumption of the recent downfall. However, it will be prudent to wait for a sustained break below the key 0.9000 psychological mark before positioning for any further depreciating move. Technical levels to watch. EUR/GBP overview today. Last price 0.9035 today. Daily change 0.0005 today. Daily change percent 0.06 today. Daily open 0.904 NBSP trends. Daily SMA 20 0.9049 daily SMA 50 0.9024 daily SMA 100 0.8926 daily SMA 200 0.8751 NBSP level. Previous daily high 0.9052 previous daily low 0.903 previous weekly high 0.9059 previous weekly low 0.8982 previous monthly high 0.9148 previous monthly low 0.8938 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 0.9044 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 0.9039 daily pivot point S1 0.903 daily pivot point S2 0.9019 daily pivot point S3 0.9008 daily pivot point R1 0.9052 daily pivot point R2 0.9063 daily pivot point R3 0.9074 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Gold bull market still technically fundamentally in place. Analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 489F44814 2029 16:38 am. At the start of the week, a number of clients had it pointed out to them that gold's recent highs could be starting to look vulnerable. It is important to realize that markets don't tend to move in straight lines. What goes up quickly can also come down quickly. This turned out to be the case with gold. Earlier this week gold saw its largest daily drop in 7 years. NBSP don't panic. The large falls in gold had some traders panicking. You may be one of them. One area to be very careful of is not using high amounts of leverage in these kinds of markets. So, if you are sat in loss and feeling dazed, this post is a reminder of the technical and fundamental picture for gold. NBSP Gold's bull market remains fundamentally in place. World interest rates are low and this supports the attractiveness of gold. Furthermore, real interest rates are negative, and if they drop further, gold prices will also rise in tandem. NBSP pullbacks are the normal ebb and flow of the market. The current pullback in gold is a very anormal pullback to the 50% fib retracement level from June's lows. NBSP near-term stops will be under $1,880. Near-term stops under the $1,880 region can be considered now that we are seeing US 10Y bond yields pull back from their recent moves higher. This is a place where stops will now accumulate. NBSP. How about a re-entry price? If you are thinking of re-entering this market, look for an intraday trend line break higher as price if price starts to consolidate from here. Finally, if you did experience a large loss by this move higher in gold, use it as a learning point. Learn that violent moves higher are often accompanied by violent moves lower. The largest bear markets can happen in the strongest bull markets and vice versa, so manage risk accordingly. NBSP. Learn more about HYCM NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Indonesia FX reserves record all-time highs. AUOB http ntvforex.com news ID FE60F 5 minutes ago by Pablo Piavano, Enrico Tanuwijaya, economist, and Harris Handy at UOB Group assessed the latest figures from the Indonesian foreign reserves. Key quotes: Indonesia's foreign exchange reserves increased by USD 3.4 BN to USD 135.1 BN in July 2020, the highest level ever, beating the previous record high of USD 132 BN in January 2018. The latest reserve level was equivalent to 9 months of import financing or 8.6 months of imports and payments of government external debt. The increase in July's foreign exchange reserves was driven by the global bond issuance and government's foreign loan withdrawal. The government has raised 100 billion yen $930 million from the issuance of 5 tranche samurai bonds to help cover the fiscal deficit and fund the coronavirus pandemic response in early July. Going forward, we might see a further moderate build-up in FX reserves on the back of capital inflows, proceeds from exports, as well as other FX earnings. NBSP. In addition, better market conditions from 3 months ago will also reduce the need for buy to conduct market interventions. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. EUR/USD key support stays intact at 1.169997 to keep immediate risk higher. A credit suicide. ntvforex.com news ID 85B48B 4 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. EUR/USD maintains a bullish reversal dia after holding key price support at 1.1697, and although the threat of a top can still not be ruled out, the immediate bias stays seen higher for a retest on the top of the range at January 19, 1626. According to analysts at Credit Suisse. Key quotes: Whilst the threat of a top can still not be ignored, at the present, it remains more likely we are seeing a high-level consolidation phase prior to the core uptrend eventually resuming. NBSP. Whilst support at 1.1781 holds, the immediate risk should stay higher in the range, with resistance seen at 1.1865 initially, then more importantly at the recent highs and downward sloping trend line. A necklinea from its early 2018 top at January 19, 1626. An eventual move above here should reassert the core uptrend with resistance seen next at January 1997 and then R1.214555. Next major resistance ANBSPA below 1.1781 would warn of further range trading with support seen at 1.1755 next, below which can see a move back to 1.1710. Only below 1.1697 would see a top established to warn of a more concerted setback with support then seen initially at 1.163022. The 38.2% retracement of the rally from late June. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Ethereum weekly forecast. USD persistent bullish push yields breakout to 2-year high. pntvforex.com news IDA 40FBF 2 minutes ago. Ethereum rises to a 2-year high at $433 after extending the bullish leg above $400. High Ethereum transaction fees could eventually harm DeFi growth. Funds locked in DeFi hit the $5 billion mark in spite of the high Ethereum transaction costs. Ethereum rallied to a 2-year high this week after stepping above $430. However, the rising value of Ether has not shifted the attention from the skyrocketing gas fees that are now said to be hurting the decentralized finance ecosystem. Due to the heightened activities within DeFi, the Ethereum hash rate hit all-time highs as discussed on Thursday. At the time of writing, Ethereum is trading at $423 amid a push by the bulls to have the price above $430 in addition to establishing strong support at $420. Can Ethereum hit $1,000 by the end of the year? Some options traders, mainly on Panama-based derivatives exchange, Deribit, are already betting that Ether will trade above $1,000 by the end of the year. The contracts now stand at $3,470 as discussed, with a value of more than $1.3 million. 1,120 of the call options expire in December 2020, with some having an expiry date as far as March 2021. The CCO of Deribit, Luke Streeches, confirmed the bullish nature of traders on the exchange, saying volumes have been decent and open interest open positions is over 2,500 contracts already, indicating some traders believe ETH can potentially show a price move of over 180% in 5 to 7 months. Ethereum miner saw daily profitability at 2-year high. As mentioned, transaction fees within the Ethereum network are currently exorbitantly high. This has resulted in a massive increase in the miner saw revenue, which has seen the daily profit hit a 27 months high. As per the data provided by BitInfo Charts, mining is now profitable at $5.80 per 100 megahashes per second MHS, a level that has not been witnessed since May 2018. The surge in profits has been attributed to the increase in ETH prices coupled with high gas fees within the network. The DeFi ecosystem is directly linked to the increased network activity that leads to a clog and ultimately high transaction fees. Mining operations are now raking in over 90% in profit, even with electricity power costing 5 cents per kilowatt-hour. The situation is likely to remain the same in the coming weeks, as no amendment has been agreed upon within the community on how to handle the surge in transaction costs. Ethereum gas fees crippling DeFi. Decentralized finance growth is ballistic at the moment, but high Ethereum gas fees are not favoring this growth. On Thursday, the Ethereum network gobbled an all-time high of $6.87 million in total fees. The CEO of Synthetics, Kane Warwick, said that DeFi is now a prohibitively expensive idea for most people at the moment compared to the situation 3 months ago. A user on Reddit, Will3380, lamented on the issue of high transaction fees, saying that it is becoming a major roadblock. To require a transaction fee of $99 is beyond ridiculous. This will be a major roadblock to growth if someone on the team does not address this. According to Xiao Wang, the head of product at Messari, a crypto analysis platform, the delay in the release of Ethereum 2.0 is presenting an opportunity for a highly scalable blockchain network that could dethrone Ethereum. High transaction fees and the longer processing time is just bad user experience. NBSP I've changed my mind after using a dozen of DeFi platforms. So long as ETH 2.0 is not fully rolled out, there's an obvious opportunity for a highly scalable blockchain to dethrone Ethereum. Paying $10 transaction fee and waiting 15 seconds for settlement is just bad UX. In spite of the high gas fees, the amount of funds locked in DeFi has hit a new milestone by crossing the $5 billion mark. Data by DeFi Pulse puts the exact funds in USD at $4.94 billion. Approximately, 4.5 million in ETH is locked in the ecosystem compared to 27,000 BTC. Ethereum Technical Analysis. Ethereum has bounced off an accelerated trend line broken line. This has given bulls energy and a reason to maintain their positions and even increase them in anticipation of a rally above $450 in the approaching weekend session. The 2-year high traded at $433 on Coinbase is currently the most significant resistance. However, before that Ether will have to topple the resistance at $430. ETH/USD is ushering in the weekend session while technically and fundamentally healthy. Short-term indicators such as the RSI and the MACD ooze bullish signals. The Elliott Wave Oscillator has started to print the second bullish session of the month. In other words, the path of least resistance is north, but first support above $420 is key for the run up to $450. ETH/USD Daily Chart. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. BOXL stock price. Boxlight Corp sinks ahead of quarterly earnings call. ntvforex.com news ID 853,738 2 minutes ago by stocks reporter. Nasdaq BOXL falls by 12.85% during Thursday's trading session. Strategic deal with Samsung provides a look into the future of education. Nasdaq BOXL has certainly tantalized investors with its recent performance, even though the stock price is still down considerably, down nearly 50% from just a month ago. Shares of the education technology firm dipped 12.85% through Thursday, closing at $2.17, erasing much of the gains made on Wednesday. Boxlight's stock is now in negative territory over the past 52 weeks and lags the overall performance of the S&P 500 by nearly 20%. NBSP on Wednesday, Boxlight announced a strategic partnership with Samsung Electronics to provide classroom displays and software applications to the education market in America. The deal utilizes Samsung's displays with Boxlight's Octopus software, which creates a fully interactive learning environment for children and teachers alike. Octopus provides specific teaching tools as well as device collaboration, which could pave the way for the implementation of distance education if the COVID-19 pandemic continues into the new school year. BOXL stock news. Boxlight will hold its quarterly earnings call on Friday, and Wall Street analysts are anticipating a 20% decline in revenues year over year. The education technology sector has been hit especially hard by the coronavirus, as school closures and a lack of technological infrastructure to support current distant learning techniques will undoubtedly hurt Boxlight's bottom line. NBSP. The deal with Samsung is an optimistic look into the future of the company, especially if schools do reopen this September, despite COVID-19 still rearing its ugly head in many pockets of America. Thursday may have been a sell-off by investors out of fear in anticipation of a poor earnings report. On the bright side, the coronavirus lockdown was a situation where things could not be much worse for Boxla, so the next quarter could show signs of a return to normalcy. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Silver price analysis XAG USDA's hourly chart signals caution for bullish. NTVForex.com news ID 13B1FE 3 minutes ago by Dwani Mehta. Silver bears take a breather before the next push lower. Rising wedge breakdown on 1H, lack of healthy supports points south. Hourly RSI inches slightly lower below the midline, bearish. Silver XAU USD is consolidating the downside break spotted on the hourly sticks after the price dived out of the rising wedge formation earlier this Friday. The rising wedge is a bearish continuation pattern, suggesting the spot is poised for additional losses. The hourly relative strength index RSI also backs the case for the further downside, as it has turned slightly lower below the midline 50.0. The bears need a decisive break below the horizontal 50-hourly simple moving average HMA support at $26.34 to trigger a fresh sell-off towards the $26 mark. The next downside target is marked at Thursday's low of $25.28, which will be critical to defending the near-term bullish bias. On the flip side, the bulls need acceptance above a cluster of robust resistance levels stacked up around $26.90 27 levels for a move higher. That area is the confluence of the 21, 100, and 200 HMAs. Although, the rising trend line pattern support turned resistance at $27.53 will be the level to beat for the XAG bulls. XAG USD hourly chart. XAG USD additional levels. XAG USD overview today last price 26.45 today daily change 0.79 today daily change percent 2.87 today daily open 27.49 NBSP trends daily SMA 2024.58 daily SMA 5020.66 daily SMA 10018.21 daily SMA 20017.65 NBSP levels previous daily high 27.72 previous daily low 25.28 previous weekly high 29.86 previous weekly low 24.03 previous monthly high 26.21 previous monthly low 17.76 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 26.79 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 26.21 daily pivot point S1 25.94 daily pivot point S2 24.39 daily pivot point S3 23.5 daily pivot point R1 28.38 daily pivot point R2 29.28 daily pivot point R3 30.83 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Technical analysis AGBP USD extends recess of positive bias analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 1F725 8/14/2029 38:26 am. Bust has been edging sideways in the Ichimoku cloud for the last week, after retreating from the recent 5-month high of 1.3185, just shy of the key 1.3200 peak from March 9. The Ichimoku lines and the flattened 50-period simple moving average SMA reflect this horizontal tone within the pair. Nonetheless, the SMAs continue to convey a prevailing positive orientation, while the short-term oscillators exhibit efforts to improve positive momentum. The MACD and its red trigger are pointing upwards slightly below the zero mark, while the RSI is attempting to push higher into the bullish section. Moreover, the stochastic %K line has bounced off the 20 level, completing a bullish crossover of the %D line, endorsing advances. If buying interest picks up, immediate constraints may develop from the 50-period SMA at 1.3083, located at the cloud's upper surface, prior to the nearby 1.3131 high. Overtaking this, the critical section from 1.3185 to 1.3211 may provide heavy resistance, which may prevent the pair from gaining further ground. If this border fails to do so, the year-end peak of 1.3283 and the 1.3305 inside swing low from December 2019, may curb the climb. If sellers take control, and steer under the lower band of the cloud around 1.3047, the 1.2980 to 1.3004 zone, which includes the 100-period SMA, may provide significant support to challenge the decline. Dipping beneath this foundation, the pair may encounter some friction from the 1.2943 low before resting at the 1.2900-1.2911 area. Sharper deterioration in price may then meet the 1.2837 barrier ahead of the 200-period SMA near the 1.2772 support. Overall, bust appears to be taking a breather confined between 1.2980 and 1.3185. A break either below or above these boundaries could reveal the next clear direction. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. IGC stock price. India Globalization Capital Incorporated shaves gains after record-setting date. ntvforex.com news ID 0021C3 2 minutes ago by stocks reporter NYSE American IGC closes slightly down on Thursday as shares shed 0.78%. The pharmaceutical company received FDA approval for Phase 1 of its cannabinoid-based treatment for Alzheimer's disease and dementia. It has been a profitable couple of days for NYSE American IGC investors as shares skyrocketed on Wednesday by over 300%, signaling the highest prices for the company since early 2019. The stock price regressed slightly on Thursday as investors skimmed off some of the profits from the historic rise the day before. Wednesday brought a record volume of over 334 million shares, or about 55 times the usual moving volume for the stock. NBSP IGC confirmed that on July 30, the FDA approved its cannabinoid therapy IGC-AD1A NBSP to proceed to Phase 1 of its clinical trials for testing on humans. This is a huge first step for IGC as they work towards distributing a THC-based treatment for Alzheimer's disease. The treatment stands apart from others as the first therapy for the devastating disease using natural and organic cannabis extracts. If successful, this could be an entirely new way of treating neurological diseases without the need for pharmaceuticals. IGC stock news on Thursday. IGC briefly touched its 52-week high of $4.50 per share, but the stock price quickly retreated throughout the day. The future is bright for India Globalization Capital though as they move into Phase 1 for their innovative new treatment. If the clinical trials are successful, IGC would have the organic market for Alzheimer's disease therapies completely cornered, creating a nice industry moat for the firm. Investors should remain optimistic of the future success of the company, although much of the anticipation may already have been baked into the Wednesday spike. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. GBP USD clings to modest gains near 1.3075 region, lacks follow-through. ntvforex.com news ID 86A0A2 5 minutes ago by Haresh Menghani. GBP USD regains some traction on Friday amid the latest optimism over Brexit talks. A modest USD rebound kept a lid on any strong gains for the major, at least for now. Signs of the US economic recovery, deteriorating risk sentiment underpinned the USD. The GBP-USD pair traded with a mild positive bias through the early European session, albeit lacked any strong follow-through and remained below the 1.3100 round figure mark. Following the previous day's pullback of around 60 pips from the vicinity of weekly tops, the pair regained traction on Friday and was being supported by improving sentiment on Brexit trade talks. Despite the fact that the EU and the UK remain far apart on a number of crucial issues, Britain's chief negotiator David Frost said on Thursday that a Brexit agreement can be reached in September. Ahead of the next round of talks about the future relationship, set to commence in Brussels on August 18, the comments suggested that the two sides remain committed to reaching a deal. This, in turn, underpinned the sterling and remained supportive, albeit a goodish intraday US dollar rebound kept a lid on any strong gains for the GBP-USD pair, at least for the time being. Emerging signs of the US economic recovery, coupled with expectations that the US lawmakers will eventually reach a deal on the additional fiscal stimulus measures, extended some support to the greenback. This, coupled with a turnaround in the global risk sentiment as depicted by a sharp fall in the equity markets further benefited the USD's relative safe haven status. Meanwhile, the pair's inability to capitalize on the uptick and repeated failures to find acceptance above the 1.3100 mark warrant some caution for bullish traders. Hence, it will be prudent to wait for some strong follow-through buying before positioning for any further near-term appreciating move. Market participants now look forward to the U.S. economic docket, highlighting the release of monthly retail sales and Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index for August. The data might influence the USD price dynamics and produce some short-term trading opportunities later during the early North American session. Technical levels to watch: GBP USD overview today, last price 1.3069 today, daily change 0.0002 today, daily change percent 0.02 today, daily open 1.3067 NBSP trends, daily SMA 201.2945 daily SMA 501.2697 daily SMA 1001.2537 daily SMA 2001.2714 NBSP levels: previous daily high 1.3125, previous daily low 1.3031, previous weekly high 1.3186, previous weekly low 1.2982, previous monthly high 1.317, previous monthly low 1.236, daily Fibonacci 38.2%, 1.3089 daily Fibonacci 61.8%, 1.3067 daily pivot point S1 1.3024 daily pivot point S2 1.298 daily pivot point S3 1.2929 daily pivot point R1 1.3118 daily pivot point R2 1.3168 daily pivot point R3 1.3212 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. AUD/USD retreats to 0.7150 area ahead of key US data. ntvforex.com news ID AFID 3 minutes ago by Aaron Senghezer. AUD/USD is fluctuating in a relatively tight range on Friday. US dollar index posts modest daily gains amid cautious market mood. Retail sales, industrial production, and consumer confidence data will be released from the US. The AUD/USD pair fell to 0.7130 area during the Asian session but staged a technical rebound in the early European trading hours. However, the pair struggled to preserve its recovery momentum and erased its gains to turn flat around 0.7150 ahead of key US data releases. USD stays resilient ahead of data. Earlier in the day, the data from China showed that retail sales in July declined by 1.1% on a NBSP yearly basis and came in worse than the market expectation of 0.1%. Additionally, industrial production expanded by 4.8% during the same period but missed analysts' estimate of 5.1%. These data releases made it difficult for China proxy AUD to gather strength against its peers. On the other hand, the risk-averse market environment, as reflected by heavy losses witnessed in major European equity indexes, is helping the greenback find demand as a safe haven on Friday. Ahead of retail sales, industrial production, and the University of Michigan's consumer confidence data, the US dollar index is posting modest daily gains at 93.30. If the US data arrive weaker than expected and point out to a sluggish economic recovery, the USD could continue to capitalize on risk-off flows and force the pair to stretch lower. Technical levels to watch for AUD USD overview today. Last price 0.7145 today. Daily change 0.0003 today. Daily change percent 0.04 today. Daily open 0.7148 NBSP trends. Daily SMA 20 0.7139 daily SMA 50 0.7011 daily SMA 10 0.6723 daily SMA 200 0.6711 NBSP levels. Previous daily high 0.7189 previous daily low 0.7135 previous weekly high 0.7244 previous weekly low 0.7076 previous monthly high 0.7228 previous monthly low 0.6876 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 0.7156 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 0.7168 daily pivot point S1 0.7126 daily pivot point S2 0.7103 daily pivot point S3 0.7072 daily pivot point R1 0.718 daily pivot point R2 0.7211 daily pivot point R3 0.7234 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. EUR/USD. The next break is clouded in uncertainty. Video analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID 316039814220102554 am. EUR/USD. There is a sense of uncertainty as EUR/USD has reasserted the trading range 1.1695 January 1915 in recent days. However, the improvement that has come in the past couple of sessions has been gradually fizzling out. We continue to view 1.1800 as a key near-term gauge for this range, and the retreat back towards this seems to be once more using this as a pivot support this morning. Hourly technical indicators suggest that this continues to play as a near-term trading range. This means that the next break either below 1.1685 or above January 1915 is clouded in uncertainty. We are still minded of the NBSP huge run of dollar weakness and euro strength in recent weeks, which has not yet had any real corrective pressure. This lends us to prefer pressure on 1.1695. Technical momentum signals have tailed off on a near-term basis, but remain positive on a medium-term outlook. How the market reacts around 1.1800 pivot will determine our view, but for now the outlook has become somewhat neutral. Initial resistance at 1.1850-1.1865. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Risk appetite hits some potholes as China data disappoints. Analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID 359A748142020102034 am. Notes. Observations. Hope for a quick global economic recovery faded. More coronavirus restriction. China data sap confidence. Risk appetite sentiment slowing down. Asia. China July industrial production YY 4.8% v 5.1% E. China July retail sales YY 1.1% v 0.1% E. 7th straight decline. China July surveyed jobless rate 5.7% v 5.7% E. New Zealand July manufacturing PMI 58.8 v 56.2 prior. Second straight expansion. Coronavirus total global cases 20,840,381 1.4% DD. Total deaths 754.6 K 0.8% DD. Europe UK placed France and Netherlands on a 14-day travel quarantine list after recent rise in COVID cases. America's Mexico Central Bank Banxico cut overnight rate by 50 bps to 4.50% as expected. Energy. US said to have seized Iran fuel cargo for the first time. The 4 ships were covered by U.S. warrant for seizure. Vessels said to have been taken over without the use of military force. Note: Iran said to have seized Liberian-flagged Greek-owned tanker Wheela on August 12. Iran claimed it was in retaliation for carrying cargoes to the U.S. NBSP speakers fixed income FX commodities Iratum equities indices STOXX 6001.91% 365.40, FTSE 2.48% at 6035.05, DAX 1.48% at 12,801.70, CAC 42.34% at 4,924.50, IBEX 35 2.52% at 7,068.00, FTSE MIB 2.13% at 19,826.50, SME 1.58% at 10,097.50, S&P 500 futures 0.51% market focal points key themes European indices open lower across the board and continued to fall as the session progressed resurgence in coronavirus cases saps risk appetite better performing sectors include materials and health care consumer discretionary and energy sectors among underperforming sectors UK resumes lockdown easing removes Spain but adds France and the Netherlands to travel restrictions Italian government says still missing details on Autostrade deal earnings expected in the upcoming US session include Terraform Power and ACS NBSP equities consumer discretionary Rovio Entertainment Rovio.fi 5% earnings, Flow Traders Flow.nl 3% earnings, EasyJet EasyJ.UK 8%, Air France KLMAF.fr 6% UK adds France to Quarantine list Energy PGS.no 5% rejects offer Industrials Hapag Lloyd HLAG.de 13% earnings, Varta VAR1.de 5% earnings NBSP speakers Germany Economic Ministry would see a strong rebound in Q3 GDP Czech Central Bank CNB minutes note that the inflation spike was seen as temporary and saw no risk of inflation expectations falling. Current trend in exchange rate was viewed as anti-inflationary factor Poland's central bank Gatner could raise interest rates in early 2021 Indonesia President Jokowi 2021 budget to speed up economic recovery. Forecasted 2021 budget deficit at IDR 971.2 T budget deficit to GDP at 5.5% versus 6.3% seen this year. Set 2021 GDP growth target between 4.5–5.5% range and 2021 CPI target at 3.0%. New Zealand PM Ardern Auckland lockdown measures extended by an additional 12 days until August 26 could see more cases as part of cluster strategy remained on elimination of COVID. To review measures on Friday, August 21. No need to take Auckland into level 4 at this time. Remainder of country remained at level 2. Fitch affirmed Singapore sovereign rating at AAA. Outlook stable. China Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Jian noted that coronavirus pandemic and U.S. export restrictions had impacted U.S. imports. Reiterated stance that had been fulfilling U.S. trade agreement and hoped U.S. would stop its discrimination of Chinese companies. Reminder: U.S.-China officials plan to hold video conference in order to assess trade deal progression on August 15. NBSP currencies fixed income risk appetite encountered some turbulence in the session as hope for a quick global economic recovery seemed to have faded. Dealers cited the addition of more coronavirus restrictions by some countries NZ and UK and disappointing Chinese data as factors. USD was trying to muster some safe haven flows but was little changed against the European pairs. EUR/USD steady and holding above the 1.18 level with the 1.19 area still viewed as the key short-term resistance and the 1.20 handle as psychological resistance. GBP/USD managed to hold on to slight gains despite UK government placing France and Netherlands on a travel quarantine list after recent rise in COVID cases. Pair at 1.3075 by mid-session. USD/JPY saw the yen firmer on safe haven flows. Weaker Chinese data put some of the commodity currencies on the defensive with AUD and NZD slightly softer. NBSP Economic Data 5 Finland June GDP Indicator YY 4.8 v 5.6% prior 5 Finland July CPI MM 0.4% v 0.2% prior YY 0.6% v 0.0% prior DK Denmark Q2 GDP Indicator QQ 7.4% v 1.9% prior RO Romania Q2 Advanced GDP QQ 12.3% v 11.5% EYY 10.5% v 10.5% ECH Swiss July Producer AMP Import Prices MM 0.1% v 0.5% prior YY 3.3% v 3.5% prior in India July Wholesale Prices WPI YY 0.6% v 0.5% EFR France July Final CPI MM 0.4% v 0.4% EYY 0.0% v 0.9% CPI X Tobacco Index 104.44 v 104.45 EFR France July Final CPI EU Harmonized MM 0.4% v 0.4% EYY% v 0.8% EU Hungary Q2 Preliminary GDP QQ 14.5% v 10.7% EYY 13.6% v 10.1% ETR Turkey June Current Account Balance $2.9 billion v $3.0 BTR Turkey June Industrial Production MM 17.6% v 4.7% EYY 0.1% v 5.5% ECN Weekly Shanghai Copper Inventories SHFE 172.1 K v 172.5 K tons prior NL Netherlands Q2 Preliminary GDP QQ 8.5% v 9.2% EYY 9.3% v 10.1% ENL Netherlands June Trade Balance A 4.1 B v A 3.2 B prior PL Poland Q2 Preliminary GDP QQ 8.9% v 9.5% EYY 8.2% v 9.1% EPL Poland July Final CPI MM 0.2% v 0.1% Prelim YY 3.0% v 3.1% Prelim RU Russian Narrow Money Supply WE August 7 RUB 3.11 T v 13.00 T prior TW Taiwan Q2 Final GDP YY 0.6% v 0.7% Prelim PT Portugal Q2 Preliminary GDP Second Reading QQ 13.9% v 14.1% YY 16.3% v 16.5% Prelim IT Italy June General Government Debt A 2.531 T v A 2.510 T prior Record High HK Hong Kong Q2 Final GDP QQ 0.1% v 0.1% EYY 9.0% v 9.0% EU Eurozone Q2 Preliminary GDP Second Reading QQ 12.1% v 12.1% EYY 15.0% v 15.0% EU Eurozone Q2 Employment QQ 2.8% v 0.2% prior YY 2.9% v 0.4% prior EU Eurozone June Trade Balance Seasonally Adjective A 17.1 B v A 14.5 B Trade Balance NSA UNA OI A 21.2 B v A 9.4 B prior Cyprus Q2 Preliminary GDP QQ 11.6% v 1.3% prior YY 11.9% v 0.9% prior Fixed Income Issuance None seen NBSP Looking Ahead Ukraine Q2 Preliminary GDP QQ 9.5% EV 0.7% prior YY 10.5% EV 1.3% prior in India to sell combined INR 300B in 2022, 2030, 2033 and 2060 bonds 0530 ZA South Africa to sell combined ZAR 2.0B. In IL 2025, 2038, and 2046 bonds 0600 IE Ireland June Trade Balance No ESTVA 6.7B prior 0600 UK DMO to sell A 3.0B in 1 month, 3 month and 6 month bills A 0.5B. A1.0B and A1.5B respectively. 0645 US daily LIBOR fixing 0700 IL Israel July CPI 0.1% EV 0.1% prior YY 0.7% EV 1.1% prior. 0700 BR Brazil AUG FGV inflation IGP 10 2.1% EV 1.9% prior. 0730 TR Turkey Central Bank TCMB survey of expectations next 12-month no estate V 9.3% prior. 0730 in India weekly Forex reserve WE August 7 no ESTV $534.6 billion prior. 0800 BR Brazil June Economic Activity Index monthly GDP 4.3% EV 1.3% prior. YY 7.5% EV 14.2% prior. 0800 is Iceland July unemployment rate no ESTV 7.5% prior revised from 9.5%. 0800 UK Daily Baltic Dry Bulk Index 0800 in India announces upcoming bill issuance held on WED. 0800 ES Spain Debt Agency Tesoro upcoming announcement on bond issuance. 0830 US July advance retail sales 2.1% EV 7.5% prior. Retail sales ex auto 1.3% EV 7.3% prior. Retail sales ex auto gas 1.0% EV 6.7% prior. Retail sales control group 0.9% EV 5.6% prior. 0830 US Q2 preliminary non-farm productivity 1.5% EV 0.9% prior. Unit labor costs 7.2% EV 5.1% prior. 0830 CA Canada June manufacturing sales 16.4% EV 10.7% prior. 0900 CA Canada July existing home sales 20.0% EV 63.0% prior. 0915 US July industrial production 3.0% EV 5.4% prior. Capacity utilization 70.3% EV 68.6% prior. Manufacturing production 3.0% EV 7.2% prior. 1000 US AUG preliminary University of Michigan confidence 72.0 EV 72.5 prior. 1000 US June business inventories 1.1% EV 2.3% prior. 1100 EU potential sovereign ratings after European close. 1200 CO Colombia Q2 GDP QQ 15.2% EV 2.4% prior. YY 15.1% EV 1.1% prior. 1300 US weekly Baker Hughes rig count 1500 CO Colombia June Economic Activity Index monthly GDP YY 11.9% EV 16.7% prior. Weekend IL Israel Q2 advanced GDP YY 25.2% EV 6.9% prior. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Technical analysis. Will the EU50 rebound continue? Analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID 9B86 F8 14 20 10 48 AM. Recommendation for Euro Stoxx 50 Index buy stop above 3380.50, stop loss below 3156.91. Indicator value signal RSI NBSP neutral MACD NBSP by Donchian channel NBSP neutral MA 200 NBSP by fractals NBSP neutral parabolic SAR NBSP by NBSP chart analysis. On the daily time frame, the EU50 D1 is testing the 200-day moving average MA 200, which has leveled off. We believe the bullish momentum will continue after the price breaches above the upper boundary of Donchian channel at 3380.50. A level above this can be used as an entry point for placing a pending order to buy. The stop loss can be placed below 3156.91. After placing the order, the stop loss is to be moved every day to the next fractal low, following parabolic signals. Thus, we are changing the expected profit-loss ratio to the break-even point. If the price meets the stop-loss level 3156.91 without reaching the order 3380.50, we recommend cancelling the order. The market has undergone internal changes which were not taken into account. NBSP Fundamental Analysis. Eurozone's economic reports were mostly positive recently. Will the UKvၤ rebound continue? NBSP want to get more free analytics. Open demo account now to get daily news and analytical materials. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Rabobank will promote healthy development of offshore yuan market. ntvforex.com news ID 54DD5E 4 minutes ago by Aaron Sengezzer. The PPAS Bank of China PBOC announced on Friday that it will push forward yuan internationalization based on market principles. Additional takeaways will remove obstacles for use of yuan both domestically and overseas. Will make it easier for foreign investors to use yuan to invest in China's bonds, stocks. Will promote healthy development of the offshore yuan market. Will strengthen monitoring of cross-border capital flows. Will use counter-cyclical adjustments to prevent risks from cross-border capital flows. More firms in countries along the Belt and Road Initiative are accepted to accept yuan-based settlement. Market reaction. The USD-CNY pair largely ignored these remarks and was last seen trading at 6,9515, up 0.11% on the day. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. S&P 500 upward momentum is slowing sharply. Risk a correction lower. A credit suicide. ntvforex.com news ID 476,174 2 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. The S&P 500 rally is losing momentum at the 3,394 record high. With the daily RSI momentum divergence now in place, the risk for a correction lower is growing steadily, according to the Credit Suisse analyst team. Key quotes: A with daily RSI momentum now holding a small bearish RSI divergence and with the market above what we see as its atypical extreme 10% above its 200-day average, currently at 3,370. The risk for a correction lower continues to grow. A NBSP support at 3,355 needs to hold to avoid this to keep the immediate risk higher for a challenge on the 3,394 record high. Beyond here can see an overshoot to potential trend resistance, today seen at 3,415, which we would look to cap at first. AA below 3,355 can further increase the risk for a correction lower for a move back to the recent low and 13-day average at 3,326.17. Only a close below here though would suggest a correction lower is finally underway, with support then seen next at 32.71. A NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Cable is holding support at 1.2980. Video analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 9E337E814 103751 AM GBP USD cable continues to exhibit very similar traits to that of Euro USD. Ranging for the past couple of weeks, cable is holding support at 1.2980 but below resistance of 1.3185. Momentum indicators have tailed off and are retreating from their extremely strong positions of the late July bull run, but for now this is a consolidation. Within the range we continue to view initial resistance between 1.3100–1.3130 which has seen minor rebounds fail this week. Candlesticks with long upper shadows but small bodies imply a market where the bulls just cannot get traction. If this is followed by negative candlesticks, then it would suggest bull failure and mounting negative pressure. For now there is a marginal negative bias within the 2-week range and we favor a test of 1.2980, but there is a lack of conviction either way right now. Initial support around 1.3000. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Your GBP trades within a range analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID 4A6041814220 10:33 14 AM. Your GBP traded lower on Friday, after it hit resistance near 0.9053 on Wednesday and Thursday. The slide brought the rate below yesterday's low of 0.9030, but the price action still remains within a sideways range between the 0.9053 barrier and the 0.8983 level. Thus, with that in mind, we prefer to remain sidelined for now, despite today's decline. In order to start examining whether the outlook has turned negative, we prefer to see a dip below the lower end of the range, at 0.8983, or even better below Tuesday's low of 0.8970. Such a move would confirm a forthcoming lower low and may initially see scope for declines towards the low of July 10, at 0.8938. If that level is not able to stop the slide either, then we may see extensions towards the 0.8910 area, marked as a support by the low of June 16. Shifting attention to our short-term oscillators, we see that the RSI just dipped below 50 and continues to point down, while the MACD, although positive, has fallen below its trigger line, pointing down as well. Both indicators support the notion for further declines in this exchange rate, but as we already noted, we prefer to wait for a dip below 0.8970 before we get more confident on that front. On the upside, the move that could invite more bulls to the action may be a break above the upper end of the pre-mentioned range, at 0.9053. This may open the path towards the 0.9085 territory, near the high of July 29, a break of which may extend the advance towards the high of the day before, at around 0.9135. NBSP NBSPJFDbank.com One-stop multi-asset experience for trading and investment services. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Trading commodities flags become too much, as the economics catch bugs. Analysis http ntvforex.com. News ID 7B9E8C8142020 10:33 13 AM. Worst trading day in 7 years for XAU USD on Tuesday, losing $116 in the space of just a few hours. It's clear that US economics caught gold bugs watching the COVID doom nightlight rather than what is actually transpiring in underlying economics and its impact on spot gold. Markets have shown that if there is any sign of improving growth, it will be bid up. Inflation, activity, and output is clearly better than the depths of the crisis at the start of the year, and growth is starting to rear its head. But the technical red flags that had been building in spot gold showed it was primed for a significant fall. The break below the psychologically significant $2,000 ounce has not only consolidated but has gathered pace and now finds itself below the wedge breakout that started on August 4. Now the relative strength indicator is screaming oversold, so having singled out the overbought position last week, we need to single out the opposite flag when it presents. The question facing spot gold and even more so spot silver is the resumption of strength in the USD. It will be a headwind. We also need to highlight the upcoming CPI print, as there are growing inflationary concerns following the modest non-farm payroll figures and wage inputs. There is a lot the fundamentals can explain spot gold's collapse. Then again, it could just be the fact that US-listed gold ETFs had 2 consecutive days of large outflows leading up to this correction. That is clear profit-taking. Could it be a reposition movement to where to next? Spot gold is still well above the previous record high set in 2011, thus watch for consolidation. If we see support building, the shakeout may be short-lived. If we break below the previous record, then this could signal the second stage of the collapse. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Markets trade cautiously with no stimulus decision yet. Analysis http://ntvforex.com. News ID 7B29EC814-2020 10:22:43 AM. Top daily news. Global markets are subdued currently after a mixed trading Thursday as Democrats and White House officials remained in a deadlock over another stimulus package. U.S. markets rally stalled yesterday despite data showing another downtick in jobless benefits applications. NBSP Forex News. Currency pair change: EUR USD 0.43%, GBP USD 0.42%, USD JPY 0.02%. The dollar weakening has halted currently ahead of U.S. retail sales report at 16:30 set today. The live dollar index data show the ICE US dollar index, a measure of the dollar's strength against a basket of 6 rival currencies, slid 0.2% Thursday as Labor Department data showed 963,000 Americans filed for first-time benefits, a decline of 223,000. GBP USD joined EUR USD as continued climbing yesterday as the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors reported UK house prices reversed the negative trend for first time since March. Both pairs are lower currently. Both yen and Australian dollar continued their sliding yesterday against the greenback with the dynamics intact for both currently. NBSP stock market news indices change: Dow Jones Index 0.25%, GB 100 Index 0.25%, Nikkei Index 3.67%. Futures on 3 main U.S. stock indexes are mixed currently after ending mixed Thursday. The 3 main U.S. stock indexes recorded returns ranging from 0.3% to 0.3% as import prices rose for the third straight month. European stock indexes are lower today after ending lower Thursday as the U.S. held tariffs on European Union products, including whiskey and Airbus Air, 1.64% aircraft, unchanged. Asian indexes are mostly higher today, led by Shanghai Composite despite a slower than expected rise in industrial production and a surprise fall in retail sales. NBSP commodity market news. Commodities change: WTI crude 0.05%, Brent is edging lower today. Oil prices fell yesterday after the International Energy Agency published a deeper cut in its forecast for global crude demand in 2020. The agency expects global demand to contract by 8.1 million barrels a day year-on-year, 140,000 barrels more than in last month's report. The U.S. oil benchmark West Texas Intermediate WTI futures ended lower yesterday. September WTI fell 1% and is lower currently. October Brent crude closed 1% lower at $44.96 a barrel on Thursday. NBSP gold market news. Metals change: gold 0.09%, gold prices are edging lower today. December gold ended 1.1% higher at $1,970.40 an ounce on Thursday. NBSP want to get more free analytics? Open demo account now to get daily news and analytical materials. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. U.S. retail sales July preview: USD to lift as expectations of moderation looks overstate. ntvforex.com news ID 7/36 1 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. Sales recovery is expected to moderate in July from historic gains in May and June. The U.S. dollar, which has stabilized after falling for 3 weeks, is likely to receive a boost if sales beat expectations, Joseph Trevisani, an analyst at NTV Forex, reports. UKvၤ retail sales are forecast to rise 1.9% in July following the combined 25.7% gain in June, 7.5% in May, 18.2%. Purchases in the control group category, which is the Bureau of Economic Analysis a consumption component, are forecast to rise 0.8% in July after June's 5.6% and May's 10.1% increases. Sales excluding automobiles are projected to climb 1.3% in July following gains of 7.3% in June and 12.1% in May. Employment is the most important factor in consumption. If U.S. households are reasonably confident of maintaining their income, they have always been reliable consumers. The only caveat to this consumption picture is the drop in consumer sentiment in July. It is possible that, given the actual job and inflation numbers, the decline was more a product of the fear of the second wave cases than a measure of genuine economic impact. NBSPA The sell-off in the US dollar over the past month was predicated on the second wave COVID-19 impact on the economy. If retail sales do not in fact drop as anticipated, the currency will have another data point for a stronger USD NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD JPY forecast pressure mounts ahead of US critical data analysis. http ntvforex.com news ID 090848142020 10:38:21 am USD JPY current price 106.70 Japanese tertiary industry index recovered to 7.9% in June from 2.9% in the previous month. US retail sales and the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index coming up next. USD JPY is retreating from highs, further slides are not yet clear. Turmoil is pushing the USD JPY pair lower this Friday, weighed by the negative momentum of equities, with European indexes challenging weekly lows. The slump in stocks seems to be related to mounting fears about a second wave of coronavirus hitting Europe, as travel-related stocks led the way lower. US Treasury yields, in the meantime, ease from Thursday's highs, as demand for safety increased. USD JPY eased from 107.04 to the current 106.70 price zone. Japanese data released at the beginning of the day was encouraging, as the tertiary industry index recovered to 7.9% in June from 2.9% in the previous month. The focus now shifts to the US, as the country will end the week publishing July retail sales, seen up monthly basis 1.9%, and the preliminary estimate of the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index for August, foreseen at 72 from 72.5 in the previous month. USD JPY short-term technical outlook. The USD JPY pair is under pressure, and gaining bearish traction in the short term, although further declines are not yet confirmed. The 4-hour chart shows that the price is pressuring a bullish 20 SMA, which crossed above the larger ones. The momentum indicator, in the meantime, is crossing its 100 line into negative ground, as the RSI consolidates at around 56. The 23.6% retracement of the latest bullish run provides immediate support at 106.35, with a break below the level opening the door for a steeper slide. NBSP support levels 106.35, 105.90, 105.50 resistance levels 107.05, 107.45, 107.80 View live chart for the USD JPY NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Pound sterling price news and forecast. GBP USD at daily highs despite negative momentum. NTVForex.com news ID 4EF0634 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. GBP USD clings to modest gains near 1.3075 region, lacks follow through. The GBP USD pair traded with a mild positive bias through the early European session, albeit lacked any strong follow through and remained below the 1.3100 round figure mark. Following the previous day's pullback of around 60 pips from the vicinity of weekly tops, the pair regained traction on Friday and was being supported by improving sentiment on Brexit trade talks. Despite the fact that the EU and the UK remain far apart on a number of crucial issues, Britain's chief negotiator David Frost said on Thursday that a Brexit agreement can be reached in September. Read more. NBSP GBP USD at daily highs despite negative momentum. The GBP USD pair is trading at daily highs above the 1.3080 mark despite Friday's 4-hour chart is showing that momentum turned to the downside. On the flip side, support is seen at the daily low of 1.3048, NTV Forex analyst UKvၤ Elam briefs. Key quotes: GBP USD has fallen over the 50 simple moving average on the 4-hour chart and momentum has turned negative, both bearish signs. Moreover, the recent swing high fell short of the previous one, a lower high, which is another downside driver. Read more. NBSP GBP USD any surprising clash in trade to boost safe haven dollar. GBP USD has been on the back foot due to the US dollar's strength. The UK's gradual reopening may help sterling, but the pound has reasons to stay stuck in a dark alley, UKvၤ Elam, an analyst at NTV Forex, informs. Key quotes: Casins, theatres and bowling alleys are among the establishments that will be able to reopen from the weekend in England. The pound positive development is simultaneously marred by another COVID-19 related announcement. Britain will require all those coming from France, the Netherlands, and several other countries to quarantine. Read more. GBP USD overview today: last price 1.3097 today, daily change 0.0030 today, daily change percent 0.23 today, daily open 1.3067 NBSP trends daily SMA 201.2945 daily SMA 501.2697 daily SMA 100.2537 daily SMA 200.2714 NBSP levels: previous daily high 1.3125 previous daily low 1.3031 previous weekly high 1.3186 previous weekly low 1.2982 previous monthly high 1.317 previous monthly low 1.236 daily Fibonacci 38.2% 1.3089 daily Fibonacci 61.8% 1.3067 daily pivot point S1 1.3024 daily pivot point S2 1.298 daily pivot point S3 1.2929 daily pivot point R1 1.3118 daily pivot point R2 1.3168 daily pivot point R3 1.3212 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD JPY: the threat of selling pressure could not be sustained. Video analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 44255E8142020 10:54:52 AM USD JPY having looked so assured throughout much of this week, the bulls have just had a pause for thought in the past 24 hours. The rally has stuttered, but so far with the 2-week uptrend still intact and the market holding above 106.60, the recovery is still on track. However, yesterday's neutral candle came with a long lower shadow, which suggests the threat of selling pressure which could not be sustained. The market is though just edging slightly lower again today and is eyeing a test of the 2-week uptrend at 106.60. It means that the near-term breakout support 106.45-106.60 is an important near-term support level to watch today. A closing breach could see the mini recovery losing momentum. Resistance is also growing around 107.00, a level which has all but capped the gains in recent sessions. The recovery needs a move above 107.50 to really suggest sustainable traction. A close below 106.00 would suggest a faltering rally and a retest of 105.30 key higher low. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. UI numbers doesn't it help analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 542b1c814 2020 10:51:20 am US dollar September USD up at 93.360. Energies September 20 crude is down at 41.80. Financials the September 20 30-year bond is up 19 ticks and trading at 178.13. Indices the September S&P 500 MNIES contract is 65 ticks lower and trading at 3,351.75. Gold the August 20th gold contract is trading down at 1957.00. NBSP gold is 138 ticks lower than its close. NBSP initial conclusion: this is not a correlated market. NBSP the dollar is down and crude is down, which is not normal, but the 30-year bond is trading higher. NBSP the financials should always correlate with the US dollar such that if the dollar is lower then bonds should follow and vice versa. The S&P is lower and crude is trading lower, which is not correlated. Gold is trading lower, which is not correlated with the US dollar trading down. NBSP I tend to believe that gold has an inverse relationship with the US dollar, as when the US dollar is down, gold tends to rise in value and vice versa. Think of it as a seesaw, when one is up the other should be down. I point this out to you to make you aware that when we don't have a correlated market, it means something is wrong. As traders you need to be aware of this and proceed with your eyes wide open. At this time Asia is trading mixed, with half the exchanges higher and the other half lower. NBSP currently all of Europe is trading lower. NBSP possible challenges to traders today: core retail sales is out at 8:30 am estate NBSP, this is major. Retail sales NBSP is out at 8:30 am estate NBSP, this is major. Prelim non-farm productivity QQ is out at 8:30 am estate NBSP, this is major. Prelim unit labor costs QQ is out at 8:30 am estate NBSP, major. Capacity utilization rate is out at 9:15 am estate NBSP, this is major. Industrial production is out at 9:15 am estate NBSP, this is major. Prelim UOM consumer sentiment is out at 10 am estate NBSP, major. Prelim UOM inflation expectations is out at 10 am estate NBSP, major. Business inventories is out at 10 am estate NBSP, this is major. NBSP Treasuries VE elected to switch gears a bit and show correlation between the 30-year bond ZB and the S&P futures contract. NBSP the S&P contract is the Standard & Poor's and the purpose is to show reverse correlation between the two instruments. NBSP, remember, it's likened to a seesaw: when up goes up the other should go down and vice versa. Yesterday the ZB made its move at around 8:15 am estate NBSP. The ZB hit a high at around that time and the S&P moved higher. NBSP, if you look at the charts below, ZB gave a signal at around 8:15 am estate and the S&P moved higher at around the same time. NBSP, look at the charts below and you'll see a pattern for both assets. ZB hit a high at around 8:15 am estate and the S&P was moving higher shortly thereafter. NBSP, these charts represent the newest version of multi-charts and I've changed the time frame to a 15-minute chart to display better. NBSP, this represented a shorting opportunity on the 30-year bond. As a trader you could have netted about 30 ticks per contract on this trade. NBSP, each tick is worth $31.25. NBSP, please note the front month for the ZB is now September 20. NBSP. The S&P contract has been changed to September 20. NBSP. I've changed the format to Renko bars such that it may be more apparent and visible. NBSP charts courtesy of multi-charts built on an AMP platform. NBSP bias. Yesterday we gave the markets a neutral bias as we didn't see much in the way of correlation Thursday morning. NBSP. The Dow closed 80 points lower, the S&P 7 points lower, but the Nasdaq traded 31 points higher. NBSP. All in all a mixed or neutral day. NBSP. Today we aren't dealing with a correlated market and our bias is to the downside. Could this change? Of course. NBSP. Remember, anything can happen in a volatile market. NBSP commentary. So the unemployment claims numbers came out yesterday morning and they were down from 1.1 million the week before to 963,000. NBSP. These are first-time filers for benefits. NBSP. One would think this is positive news, so the markets should have advanced, right? NBSP. Earlier this week we posted an edition entitled Buy the Sizzle, Sell the News. NBSP. Well, the markets sold on the news as the Dow stayed in negative territory all session long to close down 80 points. NBSP. Today we have a virtual tsunami of economic reports as we have 9 of them for the US markets and all of them are major. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Patterns: NZD CAD, NZD JPY, AUD CHF, AUD CAD analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID 77B7C28142020 10:50:55 am. NZD CAD 4H chart breakout occurs. The New Zealand dollar has declined by 3.98% against the Canadian dollar since July 31. A breakout occurred through the lower boundary of an ascending channel pattern during this week's trading sessions. Given that a breakout had occurred, the exchange rate will most likely continue to edge lower during the following trading sessions. However, the NZD CAD currency exchange rate is likely to make a pullback towards a resistance level formed by the 50-day period simple moving average during next week's trading sessions. NBSP NZD JPY 4H chart decline likely to continue. The New Zealand dollar has been depreciating in a descending channel pattern against the Japanese yen since the middle of July. The currency pair breached the 70.00 mark last week. As for the near future, the exchange rate will most likely maintain trading the descending channel. Bearish traders could target the 69.00 level during the following trading sessions. However, the weekly support level at 69.60 could provide support for the currency exchange rate in the shorter term. NBSP AUD CHF 4H chart falling wedge pattern. Inside the AUD CHF currency pair has been trading within a falling wedge pattern since the middle of July. NBSP From a theoretical point of view, it is likely that the exchange rate could continue to decline within the given pattern within the following trading sessions. Then, a breakout north could follow, and the rate could retest the Fibo 50.00% at 0.6695. NBSP In the meantime, note that the currency pair is pressured by the 55.100 and 200-hour moving averages in the 0.6550 area. Thus, it is likely that some downside potential could prevail in the market. NBSP AUD CAD 4H chart bulls could continue to prevail. The AUD CAD exchange rate has been trading within an ascending channel since the beginning of June. NBSP From a theoretical perspective, it is likely that some upside potential could prevail, and the currency pair could continue to appreciate in the medium term. Note that the pair would have to exceed the monthly R1 and R2, located at 0.9738 and 0.9892 respectively. NBSP Meanwhile, it is unlikely that bears could prevail in the market, and the exchange rate could decline below the Fibonacci 38.20% at retracement at 0.9067. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, Text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD CAD seems to be in a make or break situation. Video analysis. http ntvforex.com. News ID 3B3D84814 10:43 am. USD CAD has been trading bearish for 5 consecutive weeks, but this time the price is in a sensitive territory, near a long-term supportive trend line that has been rejecting negative corrections since September 2017. Hence, it would be interesting to see if this is the area in which the pair can stage a much-needed recovery or trigger another bearish wave. The weakness in the RSI and the stochastics keep the short-term bias negative for now, though the indicators are not far from their oversold levels, suggesting that a rebound could be around the corner. Yet, whether any potential upside corrections can violate the 5-month downtrend remains to be seen, as the 20 and 50-day SMAs have already registered a bearish cross with the 200-day SMA, foreseeing the extension of the downward pattern. In case the pair bounces on the trend line, it should also crawl above the 20-day SMA and the resistance trend line seen around 1.3370 in order to pick up steam towards the 1.3500-1.3550 area. The 50 and 200-day SMAs are adding extra importance to the region. Moving higher, the price could next challenge Junia's peaks between 1.3685 and 1.3714, where any violation could signal the end of the downtrend, upgrading the medium-term picture to neutral. Alternatively, if sellers force a close below the supportive trend line, the price could hit the 2019 AS floors within the 1.3040-1.3000 zone before meeting the 2020 trough of 1.2950. In brief, USD CAD seems to be in a make or break situation near a long-term supportive trend line, as technical indicators are flagging a cautiously bearish bias. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors. Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD JPY further slides are not yet clear. ntvforex.com news ID CA4C276 minutes ago by NTV Forex team. Pressure mounts ahead of US critical data as USD JPY eases from 107.04 to the current 106.70 price zone. The pair is gaining bearish traction in the short term, although further declines are not yet confirmed, and Forex's chief analyst Valeria Bednarek reports. Key quotes: A Japanese data was encouraging, as the tertiary industry index recovered to 7.9% in June from 2.9% in the previous month. The focus now shifts to the US, as the country will end the week publishing July retail sales, seen up monthly basis 1.9%, and the preliminary estimate of the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index for August, foreseen at 72 from 72.5 in the previous month. The 4-hour chart shows that the price is pressuring a bullish 20 SMA, which crossed above the larger ones. The momentum indicator, in the meantime, is crossing its 100 line into negative ground, as the RSI consolidates at around 56 ANBSPA. The 23.6% retracement of the latest bullish run provides immediate support at 106.35. with a break below the level opening the door for a steeper slide. ANBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors.